Welcome to part 2 of graphing a line when you're given an equation in slope-intercept form. Let's continue plotting lines based on equations that are given in slope-intercept form. Remember, if a line has a positive slope, it will pitch upward, moving from left to right. But if it has a negative slope, it should pitch downward, moving left to right. Let's take a look at a few of these problems and identify their slope and their intercept. Let's start with all the slopes. For number 4, the slope is positive 3/4. For number 5, the slope is negative 3. For number 6, the slope is negative 2. And for number 7, the slope is negative 1/2. Now, the intercepts. For number 4, our intercept is positive 2. That's our anchor on the y-axis. For number 5, our intercept is negative 1 on the y-axis. For number 6, it's positive 4. And for number 7, our intercept is negative 1. Let's plot number 5 and number 7 together. Let's examine the slope a little bit more closely for number 5. Our slope, is negative 3 over 1. Let's apply that negative to the numerator, the top number, which means down 3, and of course, we travel to the right, positive 1. Let's begin. Make sure you're taking down your notes and include the arrows in your ratio. Let's anchor at negative 1. That is our y-intercept. And let's rise and run. With your pencil point on negative 1, go down 3 units. We always move up or down first. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And make a nice solid dot. Now we've obviously run out of coordinate plane. But we can reverse this. Go back to your original point and go to the left 1, up 3, and make a nice solid dot. And repeat that pattern to the left 1, up 3. We have 4 points or solutions on this coordinate plane. Grab your ruler and connect the dots. With a nice sweeping line through all 4 points, draw a line. Make sure you put arrowheads on each end of that line, indicating that it goes on forever and ever in either direction. And finally, the finishing touch. Make sure you label your equation above or below the line. Those points, as well as many, many others, represent the solutions to that particular equation. Now, together, let's go to number 7. We've already been given the slope in ratio form. We're going to apply the negative to the numerator, negative 1 over 2. That means when we plot our line, we're going to go down 1 to the right 2. Please draw your arrows. Let's begin. With a nice anchor point at negative 1 on the y-axis, drop down 1 and over 2. That point, that new point at 2, negative 2, is a solution to that equation. Let's do it again. Down 1 over 2. Now we're going to reverse it. Place your pencil point back on your original spot. here at -1 on the y-intercept. And reverse. Go over 2, up 1, make a dot, over 2, up 1. Each of those points represent a solution to that equation. Grab your ruler, draw a nice sweeping line through those points. Place arrowheads on each end of that line. And lastly, label your line with the equation. Now, pause the video, complete problems 4 and 6 on your own, and when you're done, turn the video back on and compare your work to the answer key. Please pause the video right now. For number 4, you should have gotten a line sloping upward, moving from left to right. Make sure you have your arrowheads and make sure you labeled your line with the equation. And for number 6, you should have anchored at +4 and your line should be sloping downward. And you should have labeled your line with the equation you were given. This concludes plotting lines based on equations that are given in slope-intercept form.